I'm 19 when I get the scholarship letter. Full ride. Tuition, room, board, all covered. I cry right there on the porch holding that envelope, thinking, maybe now they'll see me. But they don't. Instead, my mom frowns at the kitchen table when I show them. My dad doesn't look up from his bowl of soup. And my little brother, Darren, just smirks like he already knows what's coming. That's great, Mom says finally, her voice clipped. Now you can use that leftover college fund for Darren. I blink. What? You won't need the money now, she says, like it's the most obvious thing in the world. It should go to your brother. He needs it for his baseball camps and tutors. But that was mine. I worked for that, those AP classes, that job at the diner. We gave you food and a roof. You're being ungrateful, Dad cuts in sharp. Don't get selfish now. That word, selfish, sticks like a splinter under my skin. The next few weeks blur. I pack for college alone. Nobody helps. There's no family dinner, no going away celebration, not even a ride to the dorms. I take the Greyhound. They leave me a note. A ripped piece of paper taped to my bedroom wall. Use your money for your brother. He needs it more. I stare at that note the whole bus ride. My name is Ava Bennett, and I'm 19 years old when I learn what abandonment really feels like. College is supposed to be freedom, but for the first few weeks, I just feel hollow. Everyone around me has some story about home, about care packages and FaceTime calls and moms who still ask what they're eating. I have silence. I don't call. They don't call. And it becomes routine. I study harder. I work evenings at the campus library. I tutor freshmen on weekends. I make just enough to eat, to buy books, and to keep my mind too full to remember what I left behind. But sometimes, late at night, I remember Darren. He's only a year younger than me, but you'd think the world revolved around him. Travel baseball, expensive trainers, private SAT tutors. Meanwhile, I was scrubbing floors at 15 to buy used textbooks. And somehow, that made me the selfish one. I try not to be bitter. I try to tell myself maybe they were just trying their best. Maybe parents don't always know how to love equally. But then I see pictures. Posts. Darren at another elite camp in Arizona. Darren with his proud parents at college visits. My parents beaming like they're auditioning for a toothpaste ad. They never visited me. Not once. So I stop wondering if it's me. And start accepting that they chose him. Over and over again. By junior year, I'm a ghost to them. I haven't gone home since freshman break, and even that was a mistake. Darren had moved into my room. My things were boxed up. Mom said I was just visiting now. I slept on the couch. That was the last time I set foot in their house. But I'm not broken. I'm building something quietly, piece by piece. I double major, business and design. I freelance logo work at night, sometimes until 3 a.m. Clients grow. Word spreads. By my senior year, I'm making more in a month than I ever thought possible. One night, my professor pulls me aside after class. Your capstone work is strong, Ava. Really strong. I'd like to recommend you to a few people I know in the city. I almost cry right there. Not because I need their approval, but because for the first time, someone sees me. No conditions. No guilt. Graduation comes. I don't send them an invite. There's no one clapping for me in the audience. But that's okay. I walk the stage with my head high and my own heels clicking. I get my diploma. I get the job offer. I move into a tiny apartment with slanted floors and peeling paint and the quietest peace I've ever known. I hang the scholarship letter above my desk. And next to it, I frame the note they left me. Use your money for your brother. He needs it more. It fuels me more than any pep talk ever could. 3 years pass. I'm 26 now. I run a small creative firm, just me and 2 others at first. Now we're a team of 8. Our name is on the glass door. Our logo is on Times Square billboards, startup branding kits, e-commerce empires. I don't talk about my family. Most people assume they're dead or distant. Sometimes that feels true. Then, one Monday afternoon, I get a text from an unknown number. Ava, it's Mom. We need to talk. It's important. My hands go cold. I stare at it for 5 full minutes before locking my phone. I don't reply. Not yet. 2 days later, I get a call. Hello. I say, unsure why I even picked up. The voice is hoarse. Ava? It's her. My mother. Please don't hang up, she says quickly. We didn't know who else to call. I wait. It's your father. He lost his job. Darren. Darren's in some legal trouble. We're out of money. The house. You left a note, I say quietly. Told me to give my money to Darren. Remember? Silence. Then a shaky breath. We didn't mean. I know what you meant. You made it very clear. We didn't expect this. We need help. Ava, please. I hear it then, real fear in her voice. Desperation. The kind they never felt when they left me behind. And suddenly, every emotion I've buried for years comes rushing to the surface. The pain, the abandonment, the long nights alone. I remember eating instant noodles in a freezing dorm room while Darren flew first class to baseball tournaments. I remember calling home once, just once, and being told we're busy. Call later. They never called back. Now they want my help. I don't say no. I don't say yes. I just say, I'll think about it. Then I hang up and breathe. That night, I pour a glass of wine and sit at my desk. I look at the note on the wall, the one they left like a command, like a dismissal. I don't cry. I just whisper, he needs it more, right? Then I turn off my phone. Because maybe, just maybe, they're about to learn what it feels like to be left behind. I don't sleep that night. I keep pacing my apartment, heart pounding, wine untouched. My mother's voice plays on a loop in my head, trembling, begging, we didn't expect this. We need help. But all I can think is, when I needed you, you told me to give up what was mine. When I had nothing, you told me I was selfish. When I asked for love, you gave me silence. And now? Now I'm supposed to be the lifeline they never were for me? The irony is sharp enough to cut skin. A few days pass. I don't respond. I get 3 more messages. Mom, Ava, please. We're being evicted. Mom, I'm scared. Darren's lawyer needs money. Mom, you've always been the strong one. Help us. Please. That last one? You've always been the strong one? That's not a compliment. It's a burden. It's the excuse they used to justify abandoning me. I was strong, so they didn't have to care. But being strong meant eating alone, crying into textbooks. Pretending silence didn't hurt as much as screams. Being strong meant surviving without them. I finally cave and call my cousin Melissa. She's the only one from the family who still talks to me, even if it's just occasionally. She answers on the second ring. Hey stranger, she says. It's been a while. Yeah, I know. Sorry. You okay? There's a pause. Then I say, my parents reached out. They want money. Said Darren's in trouble. A sharp breath. Oh, so you haven't heard? Heard what? Ava, her voice drops. Darren was arrested last month. DUI. Hit someone's parked car. He was driving back from some party in a car he couldn't afford. Word is he's in deeper trouble than just that. My stomach knots. Are you serious? Yeah. And your parents are in a bad spot too. Mortgage unpaid, Dad's pension got slashed, and they refinanced the house last year to help Darren buy some luxury apartment. Apparently, he defaulted. They're about to lose everything. I don't say anything. Melissa sighs. Look, I'm not telling you what to do. But don't let guilt trap you again. You remember what they did. I whisper, I never forgot. Still, I can't help it. I start digging. Not out of kindness, out of curiosity. Out of a need for clarity. For closure. I Google Darren's name. There it is, mugshot. DUI charge. Article mentions reckless endangerment. No injuries, thank God, but enough to put him in real legal trouble. I check property records. Sure enough, the house I grew up in is listed in pre-foreclosure. Their financial ship is sinking fast. And I'm doing fine. Better than fine. I just closed a 5-figure client. My company is modest, but thriving. I have savings. Investments. A rented office with exposed brick and a coffee machine I actually look forward to using. I should feel proud. Instead, I feel haunted. By a note. Use your money for your brother. I did. Or rather, they did. Without ever asking me. And now they want more. I don't respond for 2 weeks. Then, one morning, I get a new number calling. I ignore it, but it calls again. And again. On the fourth call, I finally pick up. Hello. There's a pause. Then a man's voice. Low. Tired. Ava. It's your father. I don't breathe. I didn't want to call. Your mother's been sick over this. But I'm asking. Just this once. Help us. Help your family. You mean the family that told me I was selfish for wanting to keep my own college fund? He doesn't reply. The family that made sure Darren got everything while I slept on a couch in my own house? Still nothing. You never even visited me. Not once in 4 years. He exhales. We made mistakes. You made choices. He clears his throat, the pride still clinging to his words like rust. Darren's young. He can change. But this charge could ruin his life. And mine didn't matter? His voice hardens. You're successful now. You don't need us. And there it is. The confession. You don't need us. That's why they ignored me. That's why they gave everything to Darren. Because I was fine. I was capable. I was strong, so I didn't deserve softness. I hang up. And this time, I don't cry. A week later, I send a letter. Not a check. Not a wire transfer. A letter. I keep it simple. You left me with a note. Now I'm leaving you with one too. I learned how to survive alone. And now I choose to thrive alone. Darren's life isn't mine to fund. You made that clear when you gave him everything. Use your own money for your son. Ava. I don't sign it with love. I don't offer hope. Because sometimes closure isn't soft. Sometimes it's a door gently but firmly shut. But life has a way of spinning back around. 2 months later, I'm at a networking event, mingling with potential clients. And there he is, tall, blonde, late 20s, with a nervous smile. Are you Ava Bennett? Yes, I say, a little cautious. I'm Josh. I just started at Mantis Capital. We're actually vetting your firm for some branding work. Your pitch was incredible. Thank you. He leans in slightly. I also know your brother. Darren, right? My smile freezes. Josh chuckles, like he's trying to soften a blow. He used to brag a lot. Said he had this genius sister who was too uptight to help him launch his baseball apparel line. I blink. He said what? Yeah, said you were bitter and selfish. But then I saw your work and realized he was probably projecting. I laugh. Actually laugh. Josh grins. Let's just say I'm glad you're the one running a business, not him. Later that night, I get an email from his team. They want to sign a $75,000 contract with my company. No family strings. No guilt. Just recognition of value. I frame the check once it clears. Not because of the money, but because of what it represents. I didn't get ahead by begging for help. I got ahead by surviving the people who said I didn't deserve it. I got ahead by turning their abandonment into a blueprint for independence. The final message I ever get from my mother comes 6 months later. Mom, we lost the house. Darren moved in with a friend. I don't know what we're going to do, but I hope you're okay. I'm sorry. I stare at it for a long time. Then I do something I never thought I'd do. I delete the message. No reply. No more notes. No more begging. Just peace. Quiet, earned peace. Sometimes I wonder what it would have felt like to have parents who protected me. Not just fed me, clothed me, raised me, but chose me. Defended me. Celebrated me. Not once have I been anyone's favorite. Not even in my own family. I've spent my life getting good at pretending that didn't hurt. But lately, I've stopped pretending. It's been nearly a year since I got that first desperate call. Since the note they left me finally boomeranged back to their door, metaphorically stamped, returned to sender. Since then, I haven't heard from them. Not a word. No apology follow-up. No surprise visit. No birthday text. It's like I never existed again. But this time, I chose the silence. And that changes everything. Because this time, silence is peace. This time, silence is power. My business is doing better than I ever imagined. What started as late-night freelance jobs between classes is now a full-fledged creative agency. Clean branding, strategic launches, bold visual storytelling. We build brands people don't just notice, they remember. We just signed another major deal, our biggest one yet. And instead of celebrating with family or calling home like some little girl still looking for praise, I sit in the office with my team, raise a glass of sparkling cider, and toast to ourselves. Because no one gave this to me. I built it from the ashes of what they left me with. And now, when I walk past the framed note on my office wall, use your money for your brother, I don't flinch. I smirk. One afternoon, I'm in a cafe downtown, sketching a mood board for a new eco-sneaker brand, when Melissa texts me again. Melissa, just a heads up, your parents are living with your aunt now. Stuff got bad. They don't know I told you. I read it slowly, calmly. I already knew they lost the house. But hearing they've moved in with Aunt Janice, who lives in a 2-bedroom apartment and once called me overly ambitious, makes something twist in my chest. Not joy. Not pity either. It's that weird ache of seeing people who hurt you finally face consequences and realizing it doesn't heal you the way you thought it might. Melissa follows up with another text. Melissa. Also, Darren's working at a car rental place. Not exactly the MLB career they banked on. You okay hearing this? I don't reply right away. I just stare out the window, watching traffic blur into ribbons of red and white lights. Then I finally text back. Me. I'm okay. Actually. I'm better than okay. And I mean it. But life has this cruel way of testing your peace the minute you finally settle into it. A month later, I'm invited to speak on a business panel. Nothing major, just a small female entrepreneurship event downtown. I agree, mostly because I remember what it felt like to be 22 and starving for a mentor. I walk on stage in a deep green suit. Confident. Clear. Calm. I talk about failure. About how being dismissed became my motivation. About how I built something out of being overlooked. The room goes quiet, listening. One girl, maybe 20, raises her hand and says, "How did you keep going when no one believed in you?" And without hesitation, I say, "Because I believed in me." And I stopped asking for permission to matter. The room applauds. But in the corner, behind the crowd, I see him. Darren. Leaning against the wall, arms folded, same smug slouch he always had. But he looks different. Older. Worn down. Maybe even ashamed. After the panel, I slip toward the exit, but he finds me. Ava. I turn slowly. He shoves his hands in his pockets like a teenager caught skipping class. Wow. That was really good. What do you want, Darren? He flinches. I just wanted to say, I didn't know it was that bad for you. Back then. You didn't care, I say. None of you did. He rubs the back of his neck. I was a kid. You were a prince, Darren. Everything was handed to you. And when I got my scholarship, you still got my savings. I didn't ask them for it. You didn't stop them either. That shuts him up. We stand there for a long moment, a thick silence stretching between us like a chasm too wide to jump. Then he says, "They're not doing well. Mom's sick." I feel something cold rush through me. What kind of sick? Something with her lungs. She's coughing constantly. No insurance. Dad's working nights at the loading dock. They're not okay. I cross my arms. And? His eyes flash something that might be guilt. I just thought, maybe you'd want to know. I already knew, I say. Melissa told me. He looks surprised. She did. She also told me about your DUI. He stiffens. That was a mistake. I was in a dark place. So was I. For years. But I didn't drink and drive. I worked and cried and kept my head down until I built something. Darren nods slowly, swallowing the bitterness I can tell he wants to spit out. I'm not asking for money, he says finally. I'm just saying, we're still family. No, I whisper. You were my family. But I wasn't yours. And with that, I walk away. A week later, I send a package. Not to my parents. Not to Darren. To me. Inside is the framed note. The one that once kept me awake at night. I remove it from the frame. I fold it in half. Then again. Then once more. And I light a match. It burns quickly, curling into ash with no fight left in it. Then I put a new note in the frame. One I write myself. You are not a backup plan. You are not optional. You are not a footnote. You are the whole damn story. It hangs in my office now. right where the old note used to be. And every time I walk past it, I remember. The people who break you don't get to keep your pieces. Not anymore. The day I burned the note, something inside me shifted. Not in a dramatic, movie scene kind of way, no slow piano music, no sudden tears. Just a quiet understanding that I no longer needed the pain to remind me of who I was. For a long time, I thought keeping that note framed was my power. Proof that I survived them. That I could still rise with the weight of their betrayal pressed against my back. But letting it burn? That was freedom. Not just surviving. Reclaiming. Life moves forward quickly when you stop looking backward. My agency is busier than ever. We land another startup client, a skincare line run by 3 brilliant Black women who remind me of younger versions of myself, hungry, hopeful, no one backing them but themselves. We help them build a brand from scratch. Their launch goes viral. For the first time in a while, I feel joy, not just pride, but joy. The kind that comes from knowing I didn't just pull myself up for me. I built something that could help others stand, too. My team surprises me with a small celebration in the office, cupcakes, music, a bouquet of sunflowers on my desk. "You're kind of a legend now," one of my designers jokes. "Do we bow when we pass your office?" I laugh. But deep down, I feel something heavier than pride. Stability. Safety. Belonging. Things I spent so many years chasing from people who never offered them freely. Now I've built it myself. With people who choose me without blood ties or conditions. One Friday afternoon, I check my email before heading home. Subject line, urgent, hospital contact needed. My stomach drops. It's from a social worker at a local hospital. "Hi, Ava. Your mother, Cynthia Bennett, was admitted 2 nights ago with respiratory distress. She listed you as her emergency contact. We've been unable to reach anyone else. We need your consent for next steps. Please call ASAP." I sit frozen for a full minute. Emergency contact? They had no use for me when I was barely eating in college. But now, when they're crumbling, they remember my number. My thumb hovers over the call button. Then I drop the phone on my desk and walk out of the office. I go home. I eat dinner. I sleep. No call. The next day, I visit the hospital. Not out of guilt. Not out of obligation. But because closure is a strange creature, and I've learned that sometimes the only way to quiet the ache is to walk into it, face first. When I arrive, the nurse at the desk looks surprised. "Are you Cynthia's daughter?" I nod. "She's been asking for you." My heart thuds. I don't know what I expect: anger, blame, another plea for money. I walk down the sterile hallway like I'm stepping back in time. Room 417. I push the door open slowly. She's there. Pale. Worn. Oxygen tubes in her nose. Her frame, once so sharp and domineering, now small beneath white sheets. Her eyes widen when she sees me. "Ava." I stand still. She starts to sit up, then winces. "You came." I did. "I wasn't sure you would." "Neither was I." A silence stretches. She breaks it. "I never wanted it to be like this." I fold my arms. "It didn't have to be." She swallows hard. "We thought we were doing the right thing. Darren, he always needed more. You were always so capable. We thought." "No," I cut her off. "You didn't think. You decided. You decided that he mattered more. That I'd be fine with less. That love was a currency you could ration, and I'd just keep showing up." Tears slide down her face. "I'm sorry." "I know," I say. "But that doesn't fix it." She nods slowly. And for the first time, I see something unfamiliar in her. Regret. The real kind. Not manipulation. Not guilt-tripping. Just the ache of someone who finally realizes they built their house on sand, and the tide came in. "I'm not here to forgive everything," I say softly. "But I'm not here to hurt you either." She grips the blanket. "Do you hate me?" I don't answer right away. Then I say, "I don't carry you like that anymore. I just don't carry you at all." A long pause. Then she nods. I leave after 10 minutes. It's enough. That night, I don't cry. I don't scream. I don't feel triumphant or broken. I just feel finished. Like I finally closed a door I kept peeking through for years. And when I wake up the next morning, I do something small but huge. I delete her number. Not in anger. In peace. A week passes. Then another. No follow-up from the hospital. No new emails. Just quiet. Then one morning, I find a card in my mailbox. No return address. Just my name in shaky handwriting. Inside, a short note. Ava, you were always the strong one. But I see now. That doesn't mean you never needed anything, too. I'm sorry. I hope someday you'll remember me with less pain. Mom. I stare at it for a while. Then I fold it, place it in my desk drawer, and move on with my day. Because I don't need to hold it anymore. But I don't need to burn it either. That weekend, I go to brunch with Melissa. She listens quietly while I tell her everything about the hospital, the apology, the way I felt walking away. Do you feel better? She asks. I think. Then nod. Yeah, I do. It's not joy. It's not closure the way people talk about. It's just, the ache is quieter now. She lifts her coffee cup. To silence that doesn't hurt anymore. We clink cups. Later, as we're leaving the cafe, Melissa says, you know, it's weird. I used to feel sorry for you. I look at her surprised. I thought you got the short end of everything. The forgotten child. But now? I think you're the lucky one. Lucky? I laugh. How? Because they didn't break you. And now, they can't touch you. And maybe she's right. Maybe losing them was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because once they let me go, I finally learned how to hold myself. There's a strange kind of grief that comes not from losing someone, but from realizing you never really had them. Not the way you needed. Not the way you deserved. And for me, it hit hardest not in the hospital room, not when my mom whispered, I'm sorry, but weeks later, when I sat in my apartment, alone, and realized no one was ever going to give me back my childhood. There would be no redo. No May-up birthdays. No apology big enough to shrink the loneliness I carried through my most formative years. And still life goes on. In the weeks after my mom's letter, I work more than usual. Not to run from my feelings, I'm past that, but to lean into the thing I built. My business is thriving. We've doubled revenue since last year, hired 2 new designers, and are being courted by a major lifestyle brand that wants a full rebrand. At 27, I'm running a company that people once said was too ambitious for someone like me. A company built by someone who was told to use her money for her brother. But lately, I feel the need to give back in a new way, something more intentional. Something that isn't just about revenge by success, but about redemption by service. So, I start a mentorship program. Every Tuesday night, I host a small group of girls from underserved communities, high schoolers who want to be artists, designers, entrepreneurs, but have no one cheering them on. I become the person I needed when I was 17. One girl, Tasha, reminds me of myself more than I'd like to admit. She's sharp, serious, with a chip on her shoulder so big it might crush her if she's not careful. One night, after everyone leaves, she stays behind and says, you always act like nothing gets to you. But it had to hurt, being ignored like that. I look at her for a long moment. Then say, it didn't just hurt. It shaped me. But I get to decide what shape I take. She doesn't say anything, just nods slowly. Then she hugs me. That moment stays with me longer than any award or paycheck ever has. A few days later, I get a call from Melissa. Hey, she says, her voice hesitant. So, I thought you should know. Your dad reached out to me. I sigh, already feeling the tension. He asked if I could talk to you. Said he needs help. Bad. With what? They're trying to get your mom on a better treatment plan, but she's uninsured. The bills are stacking up. He said he'd take anything. Even a loan. I close my eyes. A loan. From the daughter he once ignored. Did he say why he didn't call me himself? Melissa pauses. He said he figured you wouldn't answer. He's right. I'm not telling you what to do, she adds gently. Just thought you should hear it. I thank her and hang up. Then I stare at the ceiling for a long time. Because here's the truth. I don't want them to suffer. I never did. I just wanted them to see me. And now that they finally do, I wonder if helping them would feel like weakness or strength. That night, I go through old photos. There aren't many of me, just the ones from school plays, taken by teachers. The rest are of Darren. Birthday parties. Baseball games. Family vacations I was left out of because I had to work weekends. And yet, here I am. Still standing. Still building. Still here. I don't call my dad. But I do call the hospital. I speak directly to billing. I don't give my name, just the patient's. Cynthia Bennett. I ask for the outstanding balance. When they give me the number, I write it down, thank them, and hang up. Then I log into my business account. And I pay it. Every cent. Anonymously. No note. No explanation. Just paid. Melissa calls a few days later. Did you do something? She asks. Why? Your dad was crying when he called me. Said the bill was gone. Said he didn't know who did it. I don't answer. Melissa exhales. He thinks it was some charity. I told him, maybe it was karma. I smile a little. Let him think that. You didn't have to do that, Ava. I know. That's why I did. She's quiet for a moment. Then she says, you're a better person than me. I shake my head, even though she can't see me. I'm not trying to be better. I'm just done carrying their mistakes. It's a strange feeling doing something kind for people who once discarded you. But the truth is, I didn't do it for them. I did it so I could look at the girl I used to be, the girl on the Greyhound bus with tear-streaked cheeks and a backpack full of hand-me-downs, and say, we made it. And we didn't become them to survive. I still don't hear from my dad. No calls. No letters. Not even a thank you. And that's fine. Because I didn't do it to be thanked. I did it so I could keep moving forward without bitterness in my mouth. Bitterness tastes like power at first. But it rots your tongue if you hold on to it too long. I'm done holding. Weeks pass. I keep mentoring. I keep building. I keep showing up for myself, for others, for the version of me that once needed someone to fight for her. One day, Tasha comes in holding a manila envelope. What's that? I ask. My college application portfolio, she says, suddenly shy. I used everything you taught me. I flip through it. It's rough in spots, but bold. Honest. Full of fire. You're gonna blow them away, I say. She lights up. No one ever told me that at her age. But now? Now I say it every chance I get. Because I've learned something. Revenge is loud. But impact? That's louder. And healing? That's the quietest, most powerful thing of all. The truth is, the longer I live outside their shadow, the more I realize how small their world really was. All that sacrifice they claimed, all that for the family nonsense. It wasn't selflessness. It was selective love. And I was never their chosen one. But I chose me. And now, I'm building a life where no one gets to decide my worth by how convenient I am to love. It's late April when I find out my mom passed. Melissa calls me. I'm walking through a quiet park near my apartment, sipping on a matcha latte, earbuds in, when the phone buzzes. Her name flashes across the screen. I know it's something. I feel it before I hear it. Ava, she says, her voice soft. I didn't want you to find out from a Facebook post. I stop walking. She exhales. Your mom died last night. Her lungs, they gave out. I say nothing. I hear birds chirping above me, kids laughing in the distance, a breeze rustling through spring leaves. Everything normal, except me. Melissa keeps talking. Your dad said it was peaceful. She was sleeping. I nod even though she can't see me. I'm sorry, she says. But I'm not crying. Not yet. Because this grief isn't sharp. It's dull. Like touching a bruise that never fully healed. The funeral is quiet. Small. Mostly extended family and church acquaintances. I don't plan on going. But something tugs at me. Not for her. Not even for them. But for me. Because sometimes healing isn't just about what you walk away from. It's about what you walk through. So I go. I wear a simple black dress. No jewelry. Hair pinned up. Neutral. Distant. When I walk in, people turn. Some recognize me. Most don't. And then I see him, my father. Standing stiff by the closed casket, eyes red, hands clenched like he's trying not to fall apart. He sees me. His mouth opens slightly, like he wants to say something. But I just give a small nod and sit in the very last row. I don't go up front. I don't kneel or pray or offer condolences. I just observe. Because this isn't about goodbye. It's about acknowledging that I survived her. Even when she didn't protect me. The service is short. Dry. A few hymns. A few words. No open casket. No slideshow of memories. And no mention of the daughter who put herself through college while her brother got plane tickets and praise. As people file out, I stay in my seat. Eventually, I hear footsteps. He sits beside me without asking. For a long time, we both say nothing. Then my father says, "She left a note. For you." I look at him. "She asked me to give it to you." I didn't read it. He reaches into his jacket and pulls out a folded envelope. My name is scrawled across the front in shaky, familiar handwriting. He doesn't try to hand it to me. He sets it on the pew between us. Then says, "You don't have to forgive us. I don't expect anything. I just wanted you to know. I'm sorry too." I nod once, then stand, and leave the envelope there. Because I don't need another note to define me. Not anymore. The next day, I go to work as usual. My team greets me with warmth, laughter, coffee, kindness. No one says sorry in hushed tones. No one tiptoes. They just treat me like I matter. Because here I do. And in this life I built, I'm not the forgotten daughter. I'm not the backup plan. I'm not the one who didn't need as much. I'm me. Fully seen. Fully held. Fully enough. Later that week, I get an email from a publishing house. They saw a write-up about my mentorship program and my speech at the business panel. They want to talk about a book. A memoir. A collection of essays on being the overlooked child, the underestimated woman, the one who wasn't chosen but became unshakable. I stare at the screen for a long time. Then I smile. Because the girl who was told to use her money for her brother is now being paid to tell her own story. I never opened my mother's last letter. I left it where he placed it, in a chapel pew surrounded by polite grief and half-empty words. But if I had to guess what it said, I think she finally realized what I'd always known. That love given conditionally isn't love. That strength without support is not a gift, it's a wound that learned how to function. That sometimes the most painful thing a parent can do is assume their child doesn't need them. And maybe, in her final days, she understood that she lost me far before her body failed. And that loss wasn't quiet. It was permanent. Still, I don't hate her. Not anymore. But I don't mourn what we never had either. I simply release it. Like breath. Like ash. Because letting go isn't weakness. It's wisdom. It's grace for yourself. And in the end, that's the kind of inheritance I gave myself. When no one else ever would. There's a specific kind of peace that comes when you stop waiting for the apology. When you stop hoping they'll realize what they did. When you stop imagining a version of them that never existed, the kind that hugs you when you cry, that shows up when it matters, that tells you you're enough just by being alive. I used to ache for that version. Now I just live without it. And honestly, life is fuller without the constant reaching. 6 months pass after the funeral. Fall sets in. My city glows in golden leaves and chilly sidewalks. The mentorship program expands. We've got twice as many girls now, and I've hired 2 staffers just to help manage the growing requests. And the book? It's happening. I signed the deal. The title is simple, not the chosen one. It's raw, honest, and messy, just like the truth. And in telling it, I feel like I'm finally giving voice to the version of me that never got to speak. The one who left for college alone. The one who opened her dorm fridge to nothing but ice water. The one who made honor roll and called home and got voicemail. She is writing this book. And she's finally being heard. One day, Tasha, my student, asks me, "Does your dad ever call you now?" I pause. "No," I say. "Do you wish he did?" I think about it. Not the version of him that exists today. But the one I wanted when I was 12 and standing in the rain waiting for him to pick me up from practice. The one I hoped would say, "I'm proud of you." The one who never asked me how I was doing, but always asked if Darren needed anything. I used to wish it every day, I tell her. But now? I don't waste my wishes. She nods. Good. 'Cause you deserve people who show up. That lands deeper than she probably knows. A few weeks later, I get a package at the office. No name, no return address. Inside, a worn photo album. My childhood. Photos I haven't seen in years, some I didn't know existed. There's me in 3rd grade, holding a spelling bee trophy. Me at the science fair with a 2nd place ribbon. Me blowing out candles at my 7th birthday, one I had completely forgotten. But I'm always alone in the pictures. No family standing beside me. Just me. Doing everything right, still not chosen. And at the very back, there's a note. Thought you should have these. I don't expect anything. But I wanted you to know we see it now. Everything. Dad. I stare at the envelope for a long time. Then I close the album and tuck it away in my bookshelf, right beside a framed print of my company's first logo. Not out of sentimentality, but because it reminds me that I was always worth documenting. Even when no one showed up with a camera. The book releases in spring. I do an interview with a podcast that goes viral. People start emailing, messaging, thanking me for saying what they've never had the words to say. Messages from women and men who were forgotten by their families. Who were told to be the strong one while everyone else got the softness. Who were guilted into giving more, loving more, staying quiet more. People like me. But now? People healed like me. At the launch event, I stand behind a podium in front of a packed room of readers and supporters. I take a breath. I smile. And I say, I was once told to use my money for someone else. That I didn't need anything. That I could survive without being chosen. But what they didn't realize is, when you don't give someone a place in your story, they build their own. Applause rises. But more than that, I rise. Because this story? It belongs to me now. Not as a wound, but as a witness. Later that night, I walk home alone. No tears. No heaviness. Just cool air, bright stars, and steady footsteps. I stop by my office building. I look up at the windows glowing with soft yellow light. Inside is a life I built from pieces they threw away. And for the first time, I feel nothing tugging me back. No more aching for closure. No more hoping for something that isn't mine to fix. No more proving. Just being. You know what I've learned? Sometimes the most powerful revenge is living in peace when they expected you to stay broken. Sometimes the loudest voice is the one that no longer needs to scream. And sometimes, the forgotten child becomes the author of the story everyone else wishes they could write.